Thank you for joining us.
Namaste.
I had this idea today about focusing a little bit on the hip flexor, but also turning out the hip. And I've been playing with a few poses with that. So let's begin. And take the other foot down, and then just see if you can kind of create an arc. Just do a couple of arcs where you might notice you can get a little bit more range of motion. So it's not the folding in, it's arc with the foot further away. And then bring that foot down and just take a note into that thigh socket and that hip. And then bring the other knee in. You can hold the shin here. Play with whether you flex the foot or bend the foot here. And then take the ankle toward the bottom of the lower thigh. And then you can hold the other thigh, or you can hold onto the shin. And this is an outer thigh stretch. And then release that foot down, and then place that foot down and do a little bit of an arc. It's like you're drawing an arc with the foot, and you might see how it gives you more range of motion than to just try to pull it in like this. So it's just a thigh lift with the arc. And then place that down. And then see if you can take the feet quite a ways and just see if you can press the feet together and open the it's that rotation, outer rotation. And then you can, depending on your thigh sockets and hip joints, I'm used to calling it thigh socket. You can slowly bring the feet towards the groins. And again, have a few breaths here. And then again, if you can bring the heels towards the groins a little more. And just try to make sure the knees are even here so that you're not, lifting one knee to the other. And then lift the knees up. You can straighten the legs out. And then if you're up for it, cross one shin over the other and roll up. And just because that's an interesting experience, we want to do it on both sides, come back, change the shins, and roll up. Perhaps that's doable. It may not be doable. But now, come over on your hands and knees, and then just take the right foot and bring that ankle in front of the left shin, and just start to walk your hands forward, and maybe you'll get another stretch. You can stay really close to upright if that feels right for you, but see if you can come a little forward here. And you can really engage the palms so that you're engaged in the arms. And then you can walk the hands back in, bring that knee in back, and then bring the other ankle right here at the lower thigh. And you just see where you're at. It could be that your foot doesn't like being there. You can stay upright. The knee might be more forward. Or you can start to walk the hands forward and see if there's a little bit of a hip stretch. Now you don't want to, you want to try to keep your hips as level as possible. And then I didn't even think about this on the other side, but it could be that you just start to push back in this pose and get a stretch the opposite way. And since we did it on this side, we better go back to the other side and do the little push back stretch there. Then come back into all fours. And we'll just do a little bit of cat and dog to awaken the spine. So rounding the spine and cat. Inhale to dog. Rounding into cat. Inhale into dog. Rounding into cat. Inhale, dog. And then tuck your toes under and come into downward facing dog for a couple of breaths. Then you can start to walk the dog. And then if you're up to staying a little longer, you can bend the knees, press the armpits towards the thighs, and then straighten the legs. And then slowly go down into big toes together, knees wide. Inhale, coming up. Again, tuck the toes under. Come into a downward facing dog. And walk the hands and the feet towards each other. And then just slowly roll up. Come into standing. And you can stand with your feet parallel. I like doing this because it helps me feel more of the inner thigh work. And then if you can lift one leg and just hold it with your arms, you can interlock your fingers underneath the thigh and then lift the thigh if you can, if you're able. If not, you can just keep it here. And then take the hand on the shin and open it out to the side. And then bring it back around and bring it down. Find your balance again. And then inhale the left leg up. And again, you can just leave it low if that helps with your balance. If you want a little more stretch, you can bring the thigh towards you. And if you want even more, you can hold on to the shin and open the thigh out. And then bring it back around and bring it down. So we're gonna add on a little bit more to that. So bring up the other leg. And this time while you're holding it, see if you can straighten the leg. If that's too much, you can stay here with the bend. And then you can put one arm out to the side and open out to the side. And then you can bring it back in, flex it, and bring it down. And then come to the other side, flex it in. If you're up to straightening it, and it can be, quite low if you can't bring it up like 90 degrees. And then you could take the hand and bring it out to the side. Or did I do it this way? And then you could bring it back in, bend the knee, and bring it down. And have a couple of breaths. This starts to get a bit heating, doesn't it? So we'll go back to the first way of doing this, and then we'll add in tree pose. So, and lift under the thigh, then open to the side, holding the shin. Now holding the shin, bring the foot in. See if you can find tree pose and find that balance. You can always stay with the hands here, or if you're up to it, you can bring the arms up. Then to come out, see if you can just turn your knee in and bring it down, and the arms down. Think you need to mute again. And then for the second side, you can bring it up, bring the leg up again. Hand on shin, coming out to the side. Then hand lower on the shin, foot to the thigh, hands at the prayer. You can find your balance. Couple of breaths here. And then if you feel that you're pretty balanced, you can bring the hands overhead or arms overhead. And keep the arms up. Turn the leg in and then bring it down and the arms down. So trying to remember consistency for me on each side. And then we will stand, depends on how much room you have. I'm going to stand more or less in the middle of my mat. We're just going to try going into warrior 3. So again, flex the leg up. Can you lift the arms up? And now can you tilt forward and extend the leg long behind you into warrior 3 pose. And then slowly bring that leg back up, foot down, and the arms down. And inhale, flex and bring the other leg up. Bring the arms up. See if you can keep that bottom leg you're balancing on straight and strong. Then bringing leg up, down, arms down. Couple of breaths here. It's a bit heating, I'm sure. And then we'll go into Pajvottanasana this way. So inhale, flex into the thigh, bring the arms up. Now here's when you're going to turn out the thigh and then bring it long behind you. Your arms are still up, you're bending the front leg, and then you can bring the forearm down, the opposite arm up and open. And to come out, you start to come up, arms up, bringing that back leg, it's turned out, then you bring it back forward, up, and down. Probably be easier to see me on this side. So, select this other thigh, arms up. Then you're going to turn that out. Slowly bring it all the way behind you like you're in Warrior Two. And then bring the forearm down and the arm up and over. A couple of breaths here. Come out, bring the arms up again. Bring the back leg in, around, and down. Bring the arms down. Couple of breaths here. And then again, flex the leg up, arms up. We'll come into triangle pose this way. So again, turning the leg out, coming way long behind you. And this time the leg straight and the arm completely open here. Cross the shoulders. Couple of breaths here. Bringing the arms up. Bending the front leg a bit so that you can bring the back leg up and around. Foot down and arms down. And then inhale the opposite leg up. Flex it up. Arms up. And then you open out to the side. Slowly bringing it back, long behind you. Coming into straightness. And then just opening those arms. Just bringing in that width in the arms. So you're really being held in the legs. And then bringing the arms back up. Bending the front leg. Back leg comes up and around. And the arms down. So this leads me into my little exploration with sitting on a block. So it's great if you have a block. You can use cushions usually aren't firm enough, but if you have some firm cushions to sit on, and if you need height, you can have the block like this, or if you need a little more height, you can actually put the block up, and that'll give you more height. Oh, my computer's resetting itself, rebooting. Yay! Miracles happen. Anyway, come to sitting in thunderbolt pose, and you can hug the ankles into the block. Now we're going to have a little play that's a bit similar to what we did when we were standing up. So first we're going to bring the hands under the thigh and lift it close to the belly if you can, but you're trying not to round the shoulders. You're trying to have lift in the chest. And then you can bring the hands here. If you can straighten it, you might have them lower on the calf and straighten it. We'll have a few breaths here. You do want to flex the foot. And then if you want to try to go further and hold on to the foot, you can do that. If not, you can have a little bend, or you can go back to here. So whatever's working for you today. And then bend that in, and again, hold the shin and turn that out to the side. And here you can cup under the thigh and stretch out to the side. And or, so you can start with that way. You can hold the big toe. That's the first two fingers wrapped around the big toe. And then you press the big toe into those fingers. You feel how they relate to each other and into that shoulder. And then you can just bring it back around in front if you're able to. If not, you could just hold it here and bring it. Now, bend the knee And start with, you want flexion here. You want to keep that foot open. Keep the ankle down at the shin, at the lower part of the upper thigh. Hold that a few breaths if you can. And this is where it's sometimes helpful to have a cushion underneath that thigh. Now, if you're able to move that ankle closer to the opposite thigh socket, begin that way if you're able. If you're not, you just keep it lower. And you can start to notice where your edge is, like where you begin to notice it's not quite right for your body. Maybe you're feeling something in the inner knee. So you really need to pay attention to your body signals because we're all quite different. Now I'm able, especially on this side, to bring my heel all the way into that thigh socket. And then I can just hold my foot here. There's something so nice and lovely about holding your foot and this thigh, meanwhile, is opening. And this is, some people will never have the capacity to do lotus pose. This is half lotus, and we're sitting higher to try to give more room for it. But some people may never be able to do it, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong in terms of how far you can go in your poses in yoga. We modify everything. And then release that leg, and you might just want to straighten it out in front of you. Release the back of the knee. And then bring it back into Urdhvasana Thunderbolt. And then you might need to readjust your sit bones, bring those ankles in, and then bring the opposite foot or leg forward. And then the first stage is just holding underneath the thigh like we did for an earlier pose. And you want to keep that chest lift. You do not want to round the shoulders. You can also practice rolling the shoulder blades back here, sliding them down the spine. And then if you can hold on to the calf or earlier in the calf, if that's as far as you can go. If you can straighten it out here, fantastic. If not, no worries. And if you want to go further, you can hold the edges of your foot and again straighten the leg. And then bend that in, and you can hold onto the shin and turn it out. And you can either place the hand under the thigh and straighten it, and it might be quite low. Or you can hold on to the big toe with your first two fingers. And you can really press the big toe also into those fingers, rolling the shoulder down. And then you can bring it forward. And then bend the knee. And again, flex the foot so that you've got space in the ankle. And bring it down towards the knee, bottom edge of the upper thigh on the opposite leg. And just stay here. And if that's as far as you can go, your knees up here, that's okay. It's wherever you are. But like I said, if you have cushions or rolled blankets underneath, that's nice support as well. Stay here a few breaths. And then you can slowly slide it up the thigh. See what happens. That works in your body. And if that's your edge, where that if you can, move it a smidge and test it out. And I can bring mine up here. This side is not as good as comfortable as the other side. And then I like holding my foot. It feels good, but I can also hold my big toe here. Feels good. This feels nice to hold on to my foot. And then release that and place that leg long and forward, and then place the other leg long. And this is a pose I don't do too much, but we'll just start it and just see how you can go. And this works well when you have height, and it might even work better for me if I turn the block up. So you can be much higher for this pose if you need to. You could be on 2 blocks. So the idea is to try to bring your feet together, and you can wrap your hands underneath your ankles, and then you're just opening the thigh sockets here, just getting that wide open. And you know, when you see pictures, I saw this pose like more than 20 years ago in a magazine, in a yoga journal, and the guy's sitting on the floor. I'm like, how can you do this? Well, once I learned, if you're sitting on something, this is the start to the pose. So you've got your toes on the floor. You're actually trying to lift. My ankles aren't directly lifted up, but eventually you're trying to lift those ankles up. And then you can press the backs of your forearms, opening the inner thighs. And then if you really feel like going to town, I don't want to do this on the raised block. I'll do it on the lower block. If you really feel like playing around, you can hold the big toes here, and you can just stay here if that feels like a good balance place. Or just try to slowly straighten the leg if you can. And it takes some doing, it takes some balance, and also I'm on a block as well. And then you can slowly release. You could actually do like a supported legs up, you know, kind of a mini legs up the wall. If you've got like a wall to put legs on, that's better. But you can still practice a little bit here because you're getting that elevation of the pelvis away from the heart. So if that works for you, go for it. If it doesn't, just go into straight old Shavasana. So let your body settle, and then whatever surface you're on, see what parts of your body are connected to that surface. Just let more of those body parts settle into the mat. Bad chapters can still create great stories. Wrong paths can still lead to right places. Failed dreams can still create successful people. Sometimes it takes losing yourself to find yourself. Bad chapters can still create great stories. Wrong paths can still lead to right places. Failed dreams can still create successful people. Sometimes it takes losing yourself to find yourself. And her name is Cynthia Thurlow. And that quote was quite profound in a movement session that I was involved in with another group. Just a reminder that life is not linear. There's a lot of curved spaces, a lot of getting off the path, turning the path, different directions. So don't get caught up in one purpose or one step or the right step, because there's a lot of choices, a lot of different steps, and a lot of different ways to get places. And then slowly begin to reawaken your body, giving a little stretch, perhaps bending the knees to turn to your right side, however it works to come up to sitting. Bad chapters can still create great stories. Wrong paths can still lead to right places. Failed dreams can still create successful people. Sometimes it takes losing yourself to find yourself. Thanks for joining me, and namaste. thank you for watching and joining us. Namaste.